BNB has been in very high demand. I can tell this by the money markets like Venus. If you post collateral in BNB, it has often been paying up to even 30%, but a lot of times hovering around 20. Sometimes they'll dip down to 15 or 17. That's been going on for definitely over a week. And you know, a lot of other assets aren't paying out like that. Let's say like Ethereum or Litecoin or Dogecoin. If you post those as collateral, you're not going to get paid out as much. And you know, so it's definitely in high demand, and we're seeing the price go parabolic. And you know, I feel like BNB is kind of in this perfect situation where the fees aren't so egregious to where it shoves you off the chain, but it can start to rack up to where, you know, you're going to need more, essentially, to continue to interact and you know, interact with these DeFi contracts or post liquidity or move around on there. Now, like I've said before, you can build really an entire portfolio on the Binance Smart Chain, and the benefit is being able to post collateral. So this actually came up with, let's say like Filecoin, for instance. Filecoin hasn't started its move, and another YouTuber actually did a video here recently talking about the revenues that Filecoin is bringing in, and you know, it was actually pretty substantial. You know, so some of these chains don't really kind of have that much revenue. It's not generating that much in fees, and this is kind of one of the issues with some of these low friction chains, actually, where the fees are very low. It's like, how do you kind of create enough inflation to incentivize people to uphold the network, you know, miners or block producers or witnesses, whatever you want to call them, where it's going to actually pay them enough to where they're going to keep doing what they're doing to secure the network. And it's not going to be so much friction for the end users, but yet that there's enough fees that are going to get paid out to sort of maintain the ecosystem. And you know, that's, you know, obviously a very, very tough problem to solve, because we see obviously with Bitcoin and Ethereum, very hard to interact on those native chains. Just the fees are just so outrageous that a lot of times, like I said, I don't intend on being on Ethereum. If I'm gonna interact with Ethereum, it's gonna be wrapped Ethereum, or it's gonna be chain key Ethereum over on ICP, or, you know, holding some Ethereum maybe on a centralized exchange. But again, we know with the centralized exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. So this becomes an issue. So what do you guys go after? You know, what's kind of the next thing? I mean, BNB has been in this very, very aggressive parabolic move. Pokadot has not really moved. Filecoin has not really kind of made this aggressive move. Now, Phantom, this was one of the things that I looked at with Phantom, and the TVL, the total value locked within these DeFi contracts, really was not kind of going up. Tron actually has more locked on it than Solana and the Binance Smart Chain combined. A lot of people don't realize this. If you guys remember the one video I did in late 2022 at the Bentley dealership, I was saying that there's one chain that is stronger than you guys think, and it was Tron, and the total value locked has continued to go up. So while we might not hear much about it, you know, I think it's very popular over in Asia, or over, you know, over in China and stuff like that. And we haven't heard as much from Justin Sun, I feel like, this cycle. So I don't really kind of know what's going on with that. But that being said, you can look at these different products like Just Lend, look at these money markets. You see lots going on the ecosystem. And you know, so you've got an opportunity there. Also, Tron is tokenized on the Binance Smart Chain, so if you did make these plays, Matic has not moved like crazy, like Polygon. I still see upside there, and you know, total value lock continues to increase on some of that stuff like that, and if you buy it as tokenized assets on the Binance Smart Chain, you can post those collateral and not lock up kind of all your funds. You've got a little bit. Now again, obviously you apply that leverage and, you know, buy this stuff and then post it as collateral, you know, if you're doing it too much and you get yourself caught in a bind if the prices dip, that's the risk that you're going to take. But that being said, you're better off kind of doing that in a lot of ways than, you know, just buying the asset and having it sit there. Now you could buy the asset and you could stake it various different ways off on its own and earn a return. So you see this where you can stake stuff like in the Exodus wallet, various different wallets. So you're a little bit more control there, and it's not a wrapped asset, so you're not taking on the contract risk. With all this, there's a certain amount of risk. You have contract risk if you're working with these wrapped assets, and you have, you know, obviously the risk of liquidation if you are posting as collateral and then levering out. That being said, as much as this bull market is raged on, you know, we just know when we're looking at this stuff all the time and we're losing sleep and we're up all night, you know, it's like you get these big wins and then it's just like, well, that was 2 days ago, and then it's just like, you know, why hasn't this or that meme token shot up, or, you know, what's going on with Doge? Well, I mean, it's taking a little rest here. Dog needs to sleep here, but you know, you know, without a doubt, I don't see any reason why we're not going to see continued momentum in this market. Last I checked, which was like last night, Colin Talks Crypto's CBBI index was at 80 out of 100 for the Bitcoin price. So again, you know, we continue to monitor this. Obviously, we're in extreme greed category as well, you know, on that thing. But you know, the dial can crank more. It can stay there for a while, and continues to be good support for Bitcoin, and a lot of normies, a lot of the kind of retail is sort of waking up to this and at least kind of mentally getting engaged. And you know, you start to hear from them. That's where I see it. I start to hear from them. You know, they're reaching out through text, through Instagram, so on and so forth. So anyway, guys, what's your thought process on kind of the next round of stuff that's going to pop off? Obviously, we saw Litecoin as well. Litecoin is undervalued in my opinion because it has not made close to its move, and it came out that Litecoin is actually the most used asset on BitPay for transactions, which makes a lot of sense, you know, because you have low fees, and then the price is pretty consistent and everything. So Litecoin is actually used more than Bitcoin, more than Doge, more than these other assets for payments on BitPay. Anyway, guys, what are you guys buying? What do you see as the next move up? Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam, Twitter, Hive, DTube, everywhere.